What a blessing and an opportunity to remind ourselves about the faithfulness of God. This morning, I was speaking with myself, but today I have the honor and privilege to have my wife of 33 years, Kathy, here with me.
It is an honor. Thank you. It's an honor for me to be here in the beautiful island of Jamaica. Not just the beautiful island, but the beautiful people of Jamaica. You all have made us feel very welcome, loved, and we really appreciate all the kindness and hospitality you've had towards us. Thank you so much for that.
So we're going to talk about relationships for the next 30 minutes. And I just want, as a show of hands, how many of you are married and how many of you are single? So let's start first with the married people. How many of you are married? Raise your hands. How many of you are happily married? Don't. Okay, how many of you are single? Single people in the house, raise your hands. All right.
It's about half and half.
One of the first things, let me tell you, single people, one of the first things that you tell yourself when you first get married is, why is my spouse not normal like me? Right? So we're going to play a little game called Who is the Weirdo? We're going to give you a scenario and you're going to tell me which one is the correct answer. All right? We start off with toothpaste.
Okay, toothpaste. So the question that I have for you guys is, what is the correct way to squeeze toothpaste out of the tube? Okay? So, squeeze it from the middle is option one. Squeeze it from the bottom and roll up or push it up. Okay? So, how many of you think that it is squeeze it from the middle? Raise your hand. Oh, wow. Just a few. All right. And then, how many of you think you squeeze it from the bottom and you go up? Mercy. This is a real thing here.
See, my best friend and Kathy's best friend got married, and their first fight, their first argument was about toothpaste, because she brushed her teeth first and she committed the almost unpardonable sin. She broke commandment number 11. She squeezed it from the center. And he came out with the toothpaste and said, explain to me, what is this? What is this? What is this? And she said, it's toothpaste. He said, this is not how you do it. How you do it is, you start from the bottom and you squeeze and you roll. And you squeeze and you roll, and you squeeze and you roll, and you squeeze and you roll, and when you roll all the way to the end, if you're like Cubans do this, I don't know if they do it in Jamaica, but when it's all rolled up, you unroll it, get some scissors, and get this stuff out. So which one's the correct one?
The correct one is the way that, just as long as you get toothpaste out of the tube is what I'm thinking, right? Does it really matter? Just get that toothpaste out that tube.
The second one is, if you have a washing machine, is it correct to wash colors and whites together? Yes or no?
Thank you. Thank you.
What are you? You probably didn't hear the question right. It's correct to wash colors and whites together, right? Right?
Very much outnumbered. I like these folks a lot, right here. Okay. And then the last one is pretty simple. The roll of toilet paper. Okay? Do you put it so that the toilet paper comes from the top out or from the bottom out? Okay, all right, so let's see. How many of you say from the top out? Raise your hands. All righty, how about from the bottom down? Only one. You are outnumbered. I'm so sorry, sweetie. Okay,
So we want to share with you 3 basic principles today to help you improve in your relationships. Whether you're single or married, you have to understand these relationships to have better connection. Every love story has a genesis, right? And our love story started in Taco Bell. I found out that there was this girl with black hair that was single, and I didn't have a lot of money. I was a college student. So I invited her to go out. I only had like $20. And the only place you can eat for $20 in the United States and still have money left over is Taco Bell. So we went to Taco Bell and we ate some burritos and it was great. And I said, I have to see her again. So I invited her to come for a second date. And in the second date, I had to bring a gift. So I was thinking to myself, what do I bring? And I saw a commercial on TV for a fast food restaurant called Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box is like McDonald's. And it was a commercial that said, if you buy a combo meal, soda, burger, and fries, you get a free teddy bear. And I said, this is amazing.
2 for 1.
So I scrounged out some money, went to Jack in the Box, and got the combo meal. I threw out the burger because I'm vegetarian, right? But I drank the Coke because I'm balanced. We don't want to go to 2 extremes. And I ate the fries because you always eat the fries, the French fries, first. And I showed up with the teddy bear that had a heart that said, I love Jack in the Box. So I showed up and I called that black hair beauty down and I said, I have a gift for you. I want us to go out again. Here's your gift. And that girl and I, today, we're married. Thank you. Thank you. We are married to other people.
That was not me. I'm not that black-haired girl. What happened? What happened?
You thought
honey?
they
What happened? What happened to you there?
Were they clapping because they thought it was? No,
It
it was not.
it's not.
She saw what I brought, and she said, "I am not going out with this guy anymore," because she was well-to-do and I was a college student, and I brought her a gift from Jack in the Box. That's the first lesson we want to learn about relationships.
And I just want to say, if that would have been me with the black-haired girl, I would have accepted your gift.
Thank you very much. I know that, baby. I know that.
All right, and the first lesson is the following. Why, and I'm not sure, there it is. Why would God bless who you pretend to be? So Roger was talking about the fact that he knew that this girl was well-to-do, and he was pretending to have money like she did so that she would accept him for who he was. And so obviously it turned out very clearly in this situation that she kind of read through the lines and realized this guy is not who he's pretending to be, right? And God cannot bless who you pretend to be.
So what do you do then? Here's what you do. Two things. Number one, you find someone who loves you and accepts you as you are, who you are. You don't have to pretend to be somebody you're not. It is dangerous for everyone involved to fall in love with who you pretend to be.
So for me, this was kind of a lesson for myself. So I'm not sure if this is the case in your home, but this was the case in my home. In my home, we always had to pretend that everything was good. Like, nothing is wrong here. We are a happy family. We get along. Everybody loves each other. We're the perfect little family. When people would come over, it didn't matter that my mom and dad had been, fighting, duking it out, like hitting each other, all that. We'd all get ourselves together, and we'd be like happy family. No one ever really knew, except for obviously the ones who lived in there. And I grew up with kind of that mentality, like, no matter how bad it is, no one's really supposed to know. You're just going to pretend that everything's okay. And I have to say that, Roger, when I met him, he had already gotten out of that. He wasn't pretending to be somebody he was not at that point in time. What I loved about him was that he was very, very real. And up until then, I really had not had the opportunity to really be myself with anybody I had been with as a boyfriend. I always felt like I had to pretend. But when I met Roger, the fact that he was so genuine, so real, he created an environment where I felt safe that I could be so as well. And I had a lot of trauma damage from my past that I had never shared with anybody. And I probably could have gone into a marriage or a long-term relationship having kept all that to myself, because up until then, it was locked in the safe. But I was pretending to be somebody I really was not. And so I thought to myself, this guy is so genuine, he's so real. I said, I'm going to have to give it a try. I'm going to have to see, will he accept me for who I am? Honestly, I'm going to be totally honest. Being vulnerable is very scary. Very scary. And you don't feel, it's not always okay. You don't know when it's okay to be vulnerable. But I figured, because he created an environment of safety, I figured I have to tell him. He's going to have to know. And I honestly didn't think that he was going to accept me. After I told him everything I had to tell him, I thought for sure he's going to be like, ooh, I don't know about this girl. There's a lot going on there, right? But we had been friends long enough that he kind of knew who I was, though he didn't know really, really what was going on inside of me. And he was able to say, yeah, whoa, that's a lot. But he was also able to say, that's okay. We're going to work through this together, and we're going to see what we can do to get you healthy. But he created a safe place for that to happen.
Well, one of the things that we did when she said, well, this is some things that have happened to me, is that before we got married, we went to counseling for a year, right? Christ is not in opposition to counseling. Some of you need to bless the rest of us and go to counseling, go to therapy, get yourself some help. And the reason why we've been together for 32 years, we started off in a healthy place because we have the tools, and we got the tools to be able to work through. Trauma doesn't disappear in a year, but you can start working through it, and you can recognize the operations of it. So that's the first lesson. The second lesson that we want to share with you is after the experience with the Jack in the Box.
The wrong girl with the black hair, the wrong one.
I met some years later. I met Kathy, and we were friends. And it was in the friend zone, and she was very friendly, but I didn't know if she was friendly because she liked me or because she was just friendly. But I saw some hints, and I said, I'm not going to say no to myself. I'm going to jump in the pool and hope that there's water, right? I'm gonna ask her if she wants to date me. If she wants to be my girlfriend. And it was a cool fall night And I said, I'm gonna tell her in a way that's very unique. So I'm gonna do it in the form of a parable.
You know, he was a theology student, so he was putting some of that to practice.
So I took her to her dorm, and before she went up, I said, I want you to listen to what I'm saying, think about it, and let me know your response. I said, Kathy, you to me you're like a rock in my shoe.
Yes, you heard correctly.
And
yes, he said, you, Kathy, are to me like a rock in my shoe.
And then I said, good night.
And I said, what was that? What happened a little bit earlier that evening was we were having a conversation. I also was like, I like him, but I don't think he likes me. This is kind of the friend zone situation. And we were in the library studying together, and while we were talking, I happened to mention that I liked him. And he gave me this look that I could not understand. And then I said, but you know, you're like a good friend. You're like my brother. You were really good friends. Like, I don't want to lose, this friendship is so important to me.
Not the brother line.
What?
Not the brother line.
And then he says, you're like a rock in my shoe. So I'm putting like two to two together. And I'm thinking, oh, this is a bad situation.
And then I got to my dorm, and my roommate had the phone, and he was talking to her roommate. He's like, hey, Kathy is in the room, and she's crying, and the roommate wants to talk to you. And I was like, hello. She's like, Kathy just came. What did you do to Kathy? She came to the room crying. And I was like, I said something extremely innovative and romantic. It was fantastic. And I said, put her on the phone.
So I get on the phone, and I'm trying to compose myself. I was like, yes, hi, Roger. Hi, is everything good? Yeah. And he proceeds so I tell him, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm like, a pain. I don't mean to bother you. Hey, your friendship's so important to me. I'm sorry I said what I said. And I'm just trying to take back everything that had happened. And he was very confused.
Yeah, I was confused. I was like, what? She's like, why am I a bother to you? And I say, where would you get that from? Like, you're a rock in my shoe. And she's like, explain to me what you're trying to say. And I said to her, you're like a rock in my shoe. Like, everywhere I walk, you're with me. Like, I can't get you off my mind. What is happening right now? What is happening right now?
And I said the following. I said, Roger, why didn't you just tell me that? So this is the next lesson that we want to talk to you guys in relationships, married or just dating or just friendships, right? Say what you want to say, and what you want to say it, right?
Clarity is honoring, right? There's no need to be around the bush. And I know we have different communication styles, but clarity is honoring. We tell this to young people all the time who are dating. If you're a guy, single guys, raise your hand. Right. This is what you do. You ask girls out on a date. Single guys, you ask girls out on a date. You say, hi, would you like to go on a date with me? You don't say, hey, yo, you want to hang out? You want to go somewhere? You want to do something? Ask. Clarity is honoring. And if you are a girl, if they are not clear, don't just, would you want to hang out? You want to do something? Say, yes, I would like to go out on a date with you. Or no, I would not like to go out on a date with you. Clarity is honoring. Number 3.
All right. Number 3. And I just want to say something really quick on this last point. And that is, people cannot read minds, right? Like a lot of us say things like, well, he or she should know. You know, isn't it obvious, right? It's obvious. It's not obvious. Use your words, express yourself clearly. This will also help in a lot of, prevent confusion, whether you are in the friend zone or you're not. Be very clear with your intentions with the other person.
And then our last point, we want to share with you the number one secret of a good relationship. If you're able to do this, whether you're dating, engaged, or married, this next principle, if you follow it, will change everything. All right? Ready? There you go.
Men aren't projects and women aren't property. All right?
So one of us is going to take men, and the other one's going to take women. Who should we hit over the head with first? Men or women? Say it out loud. Who should we? Okay. Men.
Men? Mm-hmm. All right. So women. Oftentimes we don't mean to be this type of person. The type of person who's always correcting and fixing and making better and changing and improving. We tend to treat our men, boyfriend or husbands, like they're projects, like trying to improve everything they do. Part of it comes from the fact that we are very maternal. Okay? It is our instinct to care for, right? And so that is great when you're doing that with your children. Not so great when we're treating our husbands kind of like they're our kids. So this was a big problem for my husband and I. I just want to say something about my husband that I absolutely love, but at the same time drives me a little crazy. My husband is a very creative person. He has at least 5 great ideas every single day. And he'll come up to me and he'll tell me, hey, I got an idea. How about we do da-da-da-da-da? And I'm like, okay. And so there was a time in our marriage that I became very negative. And when he would come to talk to me about his ideas, the first thing that came out of my mouth was not like, interesting, tell me more. Which is, by the way, that combination is amazing. Interesting, tell me more. I didn't come to him with that. I said, really? Have you really thought about that? How do you, do you really think it'll work? If you did that, you probably should do it like this. And, oh, no, that's not a good idea. But hey, if we do it like that, then it'll work. And that was me. I was constantly changing, trying to improve, and making my husband into more of a project. But that was actually demeaning him time after time after time. Because men like to feel like they've got a good idea and they like us to support that idea. And by the way, when you say, interesting, tell me more, and you let them talk through the idea, most times they'll realize it's kind of a crazy idea. It may not even work out. But at least they're the ones who realize that, right? And not us who are talking them out of it.
Yeah, while we're on that topic, please, women, stop interrupting and correcting your significant others in public. Nobody likes this. On behalf of all humanity and men, nobody likes this. Let me tell you, women, let me tell you a secret about men. For men, details are irrelevant. If they say, I went fishing and I caught a foot-long grouper or snapper, and you say it wasn't a foot long, it was 11 inches, it's immaterial. Immaterial. Don't correct them. Just smile, just smile, just smile, and smile. All right? Okay, if you're a man, let me speak to you. Men are not projects. I don't like to feel like a project, like another kid. I like to feel that I'm a husband. And if you're a husband and you have a wife, regardless of whatever culture you were raised in, biblical culture trumps my country culture, right? She's not my property. She is not my property. So when I come home, I can help her with the housework. I don't have to sit while she cooks. For 10 years, I did not know this. And we worked at the same place. I came home, she kept working, and I sat. And she cooked, and then she cleaned the dishes, and then she took care of the kids, and she helped them with their homework, and then I wanted a tiger in the bedroom. And she said, this is not how it works. And I said, when she said, honey, you need to help me around the house. And I took it very well because I'm a spiritual man and I love Jesus, and I took it extremely well, right? When you said, you need to help me out, right?
So my husband's love language, the way he feels love, is when you serve him, okay? When you do acts of service with him. And so when I told him, I said, I love you, but I cannot. I'm tired of doing everything for you, and you're not helping me, and I'm getting exhausted, and I'm becoming bitter, and I'm not liking it. And you know what he said? He said, fine then, don't do anything else for me. I don't want you to cook for me. I don't want you to serve me. Don't do my clothing. I don't want you to do anything for me. And I said, oh, he's acting like my 10-year-old son. This is fabulous. And so didn't go very well.
And that lasted about a day, right? Because I was like, what am I going to do? So I realized that she's not my property. She's not my carbon copy. She's my complement. So when she cooks, I wash the dishes. And she say, oh, you look so sexy when you're washing dishes. And I said, there have been plenty, and all this stuff, by the way, is in the books that I wrote. You can get them right after sunset, right there, right? They're gonna change your life. They're gonna make a person different than what you are. I did some research. Your level of testosterone does not diminish when you're washing dishes. It does not. It doesn't make you less of a man. Nope. I wash the clothes. She folds them. Because there is a way to fold.
He's not allowed to fold. Absolutely.
There's a way
not allowed
to fold things. There's a way. That's not the way. There's a way. Who cares about the way? The way. With the way. So,
and
if you want to be successful, you understand, she's not my property. I'm not her project.
And in a world right now that we live where women are such... pornography being so prevalent, young boys get exposed to seeing women as property and an object or thing from a very young age. So this is something that is countercultural, the Bible and what it tells us. But we believe that young men can be empowered to be the healthy Christian men that we as females are looking for. Too often we put them down and the man this. No, we need to lift up our young men. We need to empower them. We need to help them to learn how to have healthy relationships. We need to, lift them up and help them out. So definitely that goes a long way in the future in your marriage.
And then we want to end, and we have 1:14. We want to end by making sure that you understand that in every relationship, you're going to have turbulence. We were on a plane, and we experienced extreme turbulence. It was like I thought we were going to die. And I saw a couple of things when we were in that plane. Number one, even though it was rough inside the plane, nobody said, I'm getting out. And by the way, that's a great illustration for church too. Everybody who was inside the ark, even though it was stormy and it was rough, but everybody survived, right? Nobody who was outside was saved, right? There's a bunch of animals in the ark, just like your church. There's a bunch of animals, and lions and snakes stay in the ark. I noticed nobody got out. Number two, we trusted the pilot. When the pilot said, put your seatbelts on, we put the seatbelts on. Don't get out of your seat. We didn't get out of our seat. And finally, we landed. And I'm just telling you, the pilot, marriage without Christ is difficult. And it's full of crisis. With Christ, it's hard. Without Christ, you're going to be in a crisis. He needs to be the center of your relationship. And if you put Christ first in your relationship, no matter if there's a turbulence and difficult and lack of understanding, you stick true, follow his advice, let him tell you where you need to go. He will make sure that you arrive safely. Amen? All right. So, I want to give away a book. There are two books you can buy this afternoon. And by the way, she said that my love language was doing stuff for me. If you want to do something for me, buy the book, right? Buy the book. One of them is called Real. It's about the book, the life of Esther. And the other one is Revive, which is what I preached this morning. And I'll be out there signing them, so please come get it. But I'm going to give away this book. This is in the book of Esther. It's very good in leadership. I'm going to give away this. And I want you to... It's the first one I see. All right? You help me see. The first one who raises their hand and tells me. I haven't asked the question yet.
That doesn't count.
Okay. Everybody quiet. The first person to raise your hand, don't make noise, just first person to raise your hand and finish and complete this phrase. God cannot bless. Right there. Let's give her a hand. Yeah, let's give her a hand. All right. At the same time, if you want to win the shoes, if you buy a book, they'll write your name down, and tomorrow we're going to give away the shoes. Thank you very much. Here is our last phrase that we want to leave with you. God always gives his best to those who let him choose. God bless you.